So today I'm going to show you guys how to change the brakes and rotors on this happens to be a 2006 Toyota Sienna. Similar process for any vehicle. I recently did an oil change and then rotated the tires and realized, well, we've been getting some vibration as we went through, especially when we were braking hard. And so I got looking at the rotors when I had the wheel off last time, and there's a groove right here on the surface. And I think that might have something to do with it. This van has over 200,000 miles on it, so it's well due for a complete changeover, some new rotors. So I'm going to show you how to change these out real quick. I don't take the actual caliper apart. I take the caliper bracket bolts on the back off. To me, that's just a little bit easier. They're a little bit harder to get off, but I think the process is a little bit quicker, and you don't have to mess. I don't think there's any issues with these slider bolts. So I'm just going to take the bracket bolts out. All right, just like that, it comes right off. So these pads are, they're getting pretty wore down, but there's no grinding, there's no metal to metal or anything like that. So I'm not exactly sure why it was vibrating, other than this rotor's getting bad. So I'm gonna pop these pads out, and then I'm going to use a C-clamp to shove this piston back up in here so that I have room for my new pads, since they're going to be thicker and it's not going to fit on over the new rotor. So to make this process a little easier, I pop out the old hardware on the caliper, because we're got new hardware with the new pads. This old hardware here, gets this out. That helps I'll show you here in a second. That helps this pad go in here, so then I can push against the pad to push that piston back. Just makes things a little easier. All right, then just carefully push that piston back in the caliper. Just make sure your brake fluid reservoir isn't too full so that it doesn't overflow everywhere. There we go, it's all the way in. Pop your old brake pad back out. All right, so that's ready for new pads. Pop this old rotor off here. All right, got the old rotor off. Yeah, there's no grooves on the back, but this grooving right here was probably causing us some issues. So we're gonna put the new rotor on, and we're just gonna set it on here and take a lug nut and just put it on here to keep this rotor still while we put the new caliper together. So we're not gonna tighten anything, we're just gonna set that there. These new calipers, you have to add this little clip here that comes with them onto the caliper, and this is a little device that alerts you when your pads are too wore if you don't check them and they start scraping, so they let you know that you need some new brake pads. They just go on just like that, clip on there. So you got to do it to both of them. Make sure you get them on there the right direction. This is supposed to be facing towards the same direction as the pad, so it can scrape on the rotor, let you know when you're waited too long. Now we're ready to put this caliper back together. So the first thing we got to do is put the new clips in. These particular clips are the same. There's no right or left, front or back. So I can just take them and put them in here, one on one side and one on the other. If you need a reference when you're taking your old ones out, be careful how you pull them out and pay attention to how they were in there. That way you know how the new ones go in. The U is up for the way I got this caliper sitting here. So I just gotta work these in here, and they just clip in like that. Got that side done. Same thing. Just like that. Now I got this pack from Amazon, this brakes and caliper set, and it came with this grease, and it shows that you're supposed to put some grease on these little metal slides, I guess, so the brake pads slide really good, so there's no binding. So we're going to take a little bit of that, put it in here on the sliders. All right, now we're going to work our new pads in there. They are, front and back are the same. I should say inside, outside, they're the same, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. And to get these in, you kind of got to finagle them into these sliders. So you can kind of pull them open and then they'll fit in there better. So that's the one that goes on the piston side. You take the whole caliper and slide it so that the pad is even with this bracket, so that when you put it on your rotor, you have enough space for the rotor to fit in there. So get my second pad here. Pads go to the middle. Just like that. Now we're ready to put it on the rotor. And like I said, we have the rotor held on there by that lug nut. So all we got to do is line this up. So we have a little lube on them. Now we just line these up and put our bolts back in. I will put a link in the description for these brakes that I got, in case you have a 2006 Toyota Sienna. Amazon has brake sets for almost every vehicle. About every vehicle I buy, I immediately buy a Haynes manual, which is a repair manual that they make for almost every vehicle. And I get that right off the bat because I know I'm going to be doing all my own work, and that saves me a lot of sweat and tears explaining how to do a lot of major repairs. And also it has in there all the torque specs. They will steer you in the right direction. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description for the Haynes manuals. So we got the rotor on, we got the new pads in there. So now let's just put the tire back on. All right, that's all there is to it. I'm gonna let the jack it back up, get the blocks out, let it back down, check my tire pressures, finish torquing these lug nuts, and then go for a test drive. I think that's gonna wrap it up for the video. Good luck with all your projects, and I hope this helped you out somehow. A few final thoughts. Obviously, you're going to want to do this process for the passenger side. And before you take it for a test spin, get in your vehicle and pump your brake pedal a few times to bring the pads in against your rotors. Other than that, guys, good luck and have a great day.